This is the magicwordpodcast.com.
We are now into the second full day of the Blackpool Convention, and this is an international convention with, as you heard yesterday, about almost 4,500 registrants who are here, and all kinds of activities are going on, and that's why there are so many things that are also conflicting with each other. You can go to one thing and you're missing something else, or that you can spend time in the dealer's room because there are 170 dealers with all kinds of really cool stuff that's here then as well. But getting a chance to visit with friends is what a convention is mainly about, and here there are so many friends internationally that we usually just see perhaps at FISM, or if they're passing through on a lecture tour or something like that. I've got with me then right now Alania Noni from Italy, who has been a long-time friend that I see at the 4F every year. So anyhow, hello, enough from me. Good morning, Alan. How are you?
Oh, good morning, Scott. So nice to see you here in Blackpool. It's strange because for me that I'm southern guy, to be in northern of Europe, it's strange and cold, but it's funny to meet some friends as you and many others that we can meet probably during these days.
Sure. Now, you are actually from Rome, and so do you come to Blackpool on a regular basis, or what number is this for you?
I'm actually living in Rome. I'm half Italian and I'm French. Yes.
Which is where the name comes from, Alania.
Yes, but 100% southern guy, because my mother was from the south of France, the French Riviera, and my father was from the south of Italy, Naples. So 100% southern. So I don't like really the cold time, the weather time, especially the British time. But I don't care because inside here it's it's a little bit warmer. And yes, not so usually, but there are some years that I came here because it's so funny convention.
Mm-hmm. Have you lectured here or performed here?
Not in Blackpool.
Okay.
I have lectured in the Magic Circle in London. And it was just my only English experience in the past, but I know that I will do one more next year. No, this year in October, because they booked me here last night.
Oh, they did?
Yes.
We're here next. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll be seeing you then in next year. So what have you seen so far yesterday, either in a dealer's room or perhaps a show or lecture? What's really kind of stood out for you?
Hard to decide because they have a lot of stuff continuously at the same time. So I love to see the dealer room because it's an unbelievable dealer room. Probably actually is the best dealer technology room. But I love to looking at books and so on. So the dealer room for me it's quick moving, and I spend some time with friends. Not good time for eating because I'm in Italian.
Yeah. No, food is delicious in Italy, but not so much here. Fish and chips, and that's about it. Yeah.
And that's enough, just fish and chips. I take good pleasure time with the shows. Last night I've seen the gala show on the Fridays was very nice, and have a very good time with the Mike Cavaney evening show with his friends. Very, very nice, very, very funny.
And you said you're going to spend a little time with Celia Munoz, who is the closing act, actually, for Mike Cavaney and Friends, who did a phenomenal ventriloquist act. I've never seen the kind of things she could do where she was actually brushing her teeth, she was eating popcorn and not just drinking water, but, putting on her makeup and her lipstick while she was singing opera songs and talking. Wow.
Yes, it's unbelievable. She's the Miguel Munoz sisters.
Oh.
Yes, and she's a singer. It's a tenor singer, a soprano singer. And talking with her, she explained me that as a soprano, it's easier for them to be ventriloquist. She explained me this. I don't know. I'm not a singer. I'm not able to sing any song.
Makes sense, I guess.
Probably.
Because you can control your voice a little bit easier. Mm-hmm.
Probably because you can use the voices from the chest and not from the throat. I've seen her performing in last years, and she was growing up every time. Mm-hmm. Actually, I was impressed as you by the concept of eating popcorn, brushing teeth, and drinking water. In Italy, we have an unbelievable ventriloquist that do this, and I've seen something like this many years ago. His name is Samuel. He has been a winner of the Italian Got Talent and something. And he was the kind of ventriloquist that make the drinking water, smoking cigarettes, and speaking two different voices at the same time. It's unbelievable. And for me, it was the only one that I've seen. And last night I've seen Celia.
Yeah.
She did the same.
Yeah, she was very good. Yeah, and of course it was hosted by Mike Caveney, and they had Tina Leonard did a different act than the Mop Lady that some of us have seen, and then also Arden James was there, and
Oh, so good, Arden James. I love it so. His mime technique is unbelievable. I've seen him many years ago in Rome, because in Rome we have every year a magic show. It's a kind of, let's say, a variety show only with magic. The name is Super Magic. This year it was the 20th year that he do this, and one time there was Arden James. We have had a lot of performers from around the world, all the best, normally.
Arden's a very solid performer. I don't want to overlook, by the way, Matt O'Neill. Matt started out the show. He performed last year also and lectured at Magic Live, and he was the one who does the name memory.
Yes.
He meets several people in the audience, and then he begins by having 100 people stand up, and they all sit down as he names their names. Incredible.
Yes.
For 23 years old. I mean, he's a young fellow. Yeah.
Well, for me, I think it's incredible too, because I'm not able to remember my phone number. Everybody is able to do this. For me, it's unbelievable.
He's going to be lecturing, in fact, today at about, let's see, it's now about 10:30. He's going to be lecturing at about 11:30 and talk a little bit about his mnemonics and how he kind of does this, I believe.
I don't know, but probably I will forget.
Probably will, too. Well, it's been a great convention so far. We still got 2 more days to go, and I still have some money in my pocket that I haven't spent at the dealers yet myself. So,
well, why not? Probably.
I have to go check it out. And later this year, you're going to be out on a lecture tour. So those who are listening to this, by the way, who are in the U.S., contact me, and I'm putting together a tour with Ilan Iannone here, and he's going to be performing. Actually, he's coming over for the 4F convention towards the end of April, and then after that, he'll be spending a week at the Magic Castle. He's going to be working the parlor or close up.
Close up.
And then from there, going to fly to Florida, and then working his way back to the West Coast again. So, and then up to Chicago and around. So, if any of you are listening to this who are booking lectures and you're looking for someone during the month of May, please give me contact me. It's lectures, plural, lectures at scottwells.com. And I'll see if I can arrange to have you on the tour schedule to hear Ilan's lecture. Because you said you're going to be booked here next year, so
yes,
you can hear some of the stuff that he's going to be talking about in advance, well in advance.
But I hope they will contact you a lot as possible, because I want to share all my ideas, all my experience. I'm not the kind of performer that have created technique and so on. But this year, for me, it will be 30 years of full-time professional magician. Yes, in April. It will be 30 years of full-time professional magician, and during my lecture, in fact, I show my style, my fighting Italian style, performing walk around in venues, restaurants, and private parties, and so on. So my work is always on how to manage audiences and how to, let's say, how to perform without being eaten alive.
Yeah, being eaten alive. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to be said about that. And so, thank you very much, Ilan. Good speaking with you. Good seeing you here then as well.
Thank you, too. You are welcome, and it will be a very great pleasure to be in U.S.
So for the Magic Words podcast, that was Ilan Iannone. Scotty out. I think it's kind of interesting to get in finally to the dealer's room to kind of make a way around a little bit. And there are, I mentioned earlier, 170 different magic booths or stalls, as they would call them here. And one is Pro Mystic, and I've got a friend of mine here, Richard Steele, who is behind the booth now. Hey there, Richard.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
We're all fine. So tell me about what you're doing here. I mean, have you come to Blackpool before or been a dealer?
I've been to Blackpool, I think, 10 or 12 times. I'm not sure anymore. It becomes a blur. But if you've never been to Blackpool, I would tell your listeners to make it a bucket list item, because it's actually amazing. It's the most magicians you'll see in one room ever, including dealers. There's so many dealers, and there's things that you'll never see unless you come to Blackpool.
That's a very good point. There are some things here at Blackpool that, the dealers bring that you won't see, and typically some people will sell. When I was here last time, I remember one had sold out by noon on the first day of some of the things. So even though there are so many dealers here, you might think, well, it's overload. Well, no, when you got 4,500 magicians, and this is the one and only convention that many of the Europeans might come to, so they bring a lot of money and they come to spend it. And so you probably do pretty well here, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Otherwise, you wouldn't come every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
The last 10 years. Every year for the last 10 years.
Yeah, so it is. It's a place where people all congregate together, and it's a great place. And it's the only time that I'm going to see a lot of these people. They'll only be in Blackpool, not at some of the other conventions. But the other conventions are great too. But Blackpool kind of has a special part in my heart because it's amazing. And every time you come here, you meet new people and you get to see magic that you'll never see probably anywhere else in the world.
What other conventions are you going to be going to with Pro Mystic this year?
Oh, that's secret. We don't even know. But we'll probably be at Magic Live
Magic Live more than likely.
And this one again. So that's about it.
And when you are working behind the booth, I know, what is it, 9 to 5 or 10 to 5? Is it the dealer hour?
I think it's 9 to 5.
Okay, so you don't get to see too much of the rest of the stuff's going on except the evening shows, or are you pretty much wiped out by then?
Oh, no. We go to the evening shows. We went last night, and then we did the late show.
What'd you think?
Were you at the late show?
You mean with Harrison Carroll? Harrison Greenbaum, I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. We talk about trade shows, thinking Harrison Carroll.
Yeah. That's all right. No. But, yeah, so we got to see the shows, and then, again, a lot of the people just come by the booth and kind of show us stuff anyway. So
what'd you think of the gala? Who stood out for you?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know the name of the person, but we'll say it's the person with the sand.
He closed the show. Last name Young, Y-U-N-G.
Truly amazing. I mean, it was beautiful, and to have a standing ovation from magicians, the whole theater stood up. That's a big compliment.
He created a steel ring out of sand slowly, and then he made it disappear. And I was in the second row. It was amazing. It looked just as good, as close as it did probably further away.
It did. It was truly magical. I mean,
that's the word for it. It actually was.
Yeah.
That word gets overused, but it really was truly magical. Well, I know you missed a lot of the lectures that are here, but you got another guy kind of working the booth. You kind of say, hey, look, I really want to see so-and-so.
Yeah, and then there was Marvin Burglas that did a lecture about business, actually. So that was a one I wanted to go to, but I got the notes for it, so I'm pretty happy that I got that. And Marvin's a sweet man, such a amazing person.
He is, and one of the most successful magic business entrepreneurs, in the world with his Marvin's Magic.
Yeah, Marvin's Magic is, and I didn't even know that years ago when I was talking to him that he was a Burglas, and he's...
You're David Burglas' son?
Right.
And another one that I thought was interesting was Ben Hart's lecture, and Ben just talked about how to take nothing and make something out of it, basically starting with an idea to build an act from the very beginning. And everything that he did, he actually literally read from his notes. So he sold the notes at the end, but he read it word for word, but because he had written it, he had pretty much memorized it. And so it may sound boring, but there wasn't anybody sleeping in the audience, For 25 minutes, he just delivered this unique lecture that I've not heard before about making something, as I said, from nothing, in which you're starting with the germ of an idea and write this down, and then how you start practicing, and then buying anything first of all, and then rehearsing it. Anyhow, then building up even to the point of doing a stage show with lights and sound and everything. So anyhow, it was a good lecture.
I missed out on it.
Missed out on that one too.
I missed out on all of them pretty much, but
well, I'm just filling you in over there.
Good.
Well, thanks very much, Richard. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Then
pleasure. And make sure to come to Blackpool. It's amazing.
And stop by Pro Mystic then also. That's ProMystic.com?
Yes, exactly. ProMystic.com.
All the great stuff. I've got several of their things in as well. I know you got some great stuff you're selling here today. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Richard Steele. Scotty out. We are just about to start the Bear Pit close-up here this afternoon, and while we're waiting this to begin, you can hear them giving some announcements in the background over here. But I thought I would talk with a couple of gentlemen who have been coming for a long number of years. They're sitting next to me, Andy and Leonard. Hey there, guys.
Hi.
So, Andy, you are Leonard's son?
I am, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
My goodness, you guys both look good like you're brothers.
Absolutely,
almost,
yeah,
both
yeah.
young people. But you've been coming, you said, for like 25 years or so?
We have indeed.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Just together? So you remember your first one when you were a lad?
Yeah, I was a lad. I was just talking about it. Saw Bob Sheets. Bought the best value thing I ever bought at Blackpool was a VHS with It's the Rules and the 3-shell game on it. Absolutely nuts. I do both of those in every performance I do.
You've had it ever since. You've been doing it ever since.
I've been doing it ever since, yeah.
I don't do performances. I got him started when he was 7, and then he blossomed from there.
So you had an interest in magic then to begin with, Leonard, I guess, that you brought your son along and said, hey, I think you might be enjoying this too.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
So how old were you, actually, Andy, whenever that you first came to
Oh, God, 25 years ago, so 39, 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of late in life you got started in magic, would you say?
Yeah, I've always been interested in it, yeah, but I got seriously into it, about 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so he was telling me Bob Sheets was one of his, over the past several years, one of your favorites. Who's been one of the favorites or conventions you've enjoyed?
Too many to mention, really.
I know it's not fair.
Seriously. Who's the Spanish guy?
Juan Tamariz.
Juan Tamariz,
Of course.
yeah. Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant. And, we saw him here too. Great show.
Matt King.
Oh, Matt King, certainly.
Matt King's going to be on the show tonight, is that right?
Saw him for the first time 4 years ago.
Yeah.
In the.
That's when Lance Burton came and everything.
Sorry?
Was that when Lance Burton had come?
Yeah, they were both here then.
Yeah, they're great friends for over many years. I
yes.
do understand.
Both from
Anyway.
Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah.
And the place was packed. It was in the
arena. Yeah.
The arena.
Yeah.
All the aisles were crammed with people.
Really?
Yeah. If they could have hung from the ceiling, they would have been doing that. Yeah. Which is why I think he decided to bring his main Vegas show over here in the big theatre.
Yeah.
Which is tonight, and we're looking
Right.
forward to it.
Have you ever had a chance to go to the U.S., to Vegas, or to see the show at all?
No, I've been to the US, but not seen the magic over
Have you
there.
been to Las Vegas when you've gone to the U.S.?
I did go to Vegas. Yeah.
And then you've been to the Magic Castle?
I didn't manage to get. Yeah, no.
Yep. Is that on your bucket list, or Randy?
I'd certainly love to go there, yeah, one day, yeah.
So let's talk about this convention. What is it that you've enjoyed so far that's been a highlight for you? Whether it's been something in the dealer's room you bought or
Shootigawa.
something. Shootigawa, okay.
Oh, brilliant. And who's the guy?
Danny Goldsmith.
Danny Goldsmith is
Oh, man.
his lecture was brilliant.
Show.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The show. His lecture is later in the week.
Yeah.
He was on the show last night. Which one was Danny?
No, he was in the close-up show yesterday lunchtime.
I missed that one. Sorry.
Oh, man. He does coins, and it just looks so natural and so magical and so impossible.
Yeah.
Like I say, it just you got instant standing ovation. At the
Yeah,
end
and
of
you
his
don't
bit.
get those normally when it's a group of people like this.
Right.
Not in these rooms.
But
Right,
he,
very tight.
But
Oh, yeah.
he did get a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's lecturing tomorrow. We will be there. We will be there.
Now, whenever that you come, of course, every year, I'm sure it's to see a lot of friends. It's this way that you get to have a little camaraderie with people you only get to see at this convention. But were there some people that you saw who were going to be on the bill that you said, hey, I really want to come this year? Because, like Matt King, I mean, there's someone that you said, I really want to see?
Exactly. Matt King.
Exactly that.
Matt King and Danny Goldsmith. They're the two big ones. And Shootigawa.
Yeah.
Those three, yeah.
And all being here just at one time, in one
Yeah,
convention.
absolutely.
Even though there are 4,500 people here, I mean, it still seems kind of intimate, when we're in groups like this.
Exactly.
Now, we were just talking then, Lenny, a minute ago, before we went on air, I heard you were saying about how that, one only time I came was in 2005, and when they used to have the lectures in the horseshoe, and so they kind of had the raised tiered platform, and then you had to walk by. That was really kind of a hassle. I think they've really done that a lot better now than what they had back then.
Well, it's more organised and better, but you don't get the atmosphere of people crammed everywhere around
No,
the
that's
room.
true.
Yeah. Which is
Well,
true.
there are more people, I think, here now than there were. I mean, there was like 3,000 before, and 4,500. I mean, it's still a lot. It's a lot.
True.
But
Absolutely. Yeah.
But do you think this is a better viewing for the public here?
No,
I mean,
it's
for the
just
show?
different.
Just different. Okay.
It's equally. It's good both ways. Yeah.
Well, I guess we're getting ready to start the show over here, so we'll shut her down. Thanks very much, Andy, Lenny. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoy the convention. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for that.
Just subscribe.
Scotty out. One of the people who I always like to talk with, because he always attends a lot of the same big conventions that I do, Mr. Craig Mitchell. He's here with me today. Hey, Craig.
How are you, Scott?
Fantastic. Yeah, we always seem to go to FISM, and I like reading your reports, and you're quite honest in your reporting and everything that you see and hear. If you like it, great. If you don't, you tell that too.
I'm an equal opportunity critic.
So you've been attending Blackpool for a long number of years, and are you enjoying this one more or less, or would you rate this, although we're only like hardly a day and a half into this one?
The scary part is it's only been a day and a half, and it feels like a 5-day convention. I think the magic per minute for this year's event is the highest out of all the conventions.
Yeah.
It seems to be busier, there seems to be more on the go, the schedule's jam-packed, and you're having to choose, and not just choose for choice's sake, you're having to make difficult decisions. Are you going to go see Shoot Ogawa, Sublime, or you're going to go see Mike Caveney and Friends? So these are difficult quandaries we've been placed in, which shows just the quality is particularly high this year so far.
Yeah, it really has. And the lectures have been diverse also. I don't know if you've heard many of them, but
I've just come back from the Montreal Magic, the trio, some great presentation ideas. They seem to be catering something for everyone, and you can't do everything. That is the take home.
No, you can't. I was wanting to hear them also, but I just was in the close-up show.
You can't. So everyone's Blackpool experience is going to be different.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it depends what track you're on.
And some people love that, and other people hate that. And I like the choice. People must pick and choose, and you're not always going to get to see what you want to see, but it allows more variety and choice.
Well, some years ago, you had sponsored a convention, the IMAX. Right, IMAX.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
It does seem like a long time ago, and as I recall, I thought there was something there too. Didn't you have choices?
Completely pick and choose. Everyone had their own individual schedule, multiple tracks, and you couldn't do everything.
Right. Similar to this, exactly.
Similar to this, and I quite like that. It means everybody's experience is going to be unique to them. And that's good and bad, depending which way you choose your own adventure.
That's true, but I like that. I considered it. I like to look at things on the bright side and the positive, and I think that's a good thing from the standpoint that, let's say that when you get back, you're explaining your experience, and then someone else is talking about theirs. It's like, what convention did you go to? And it is a completely different thing.
Catch it up with somebody. Well, what did you do this morning? You found out 10 different things that were taking place, which you had no idea of, and so-and-so did this, and everyone's comparing notes and quickly checking in the program, or can you sneak this person into your schedule? And the same as the dealer's room, what's the latest and greatest? Or somebody saw this at this stand. The dealer's room is bigger than ever before. I think it's 172 dealers.
Yeah, correct.
It's expanded into the horseshoe section as well. Mm-hmm. So you could just spend the entire 3 days just going from stand to stand to stand and doing absolutely nothing else. But considering we're only a day and a half, and besides the little hiccup at registration, everything is beyond smooth. I mean, every gala show started on time, the tech's been top-notch, the amount of talent. I mean, there's an army of magicians on stage and off pulling this together. So,
I remember many years ago, it used to be their galas were like 4 hours long or something. You know, it seems like they've tightened that up considerably.
Well, since the new team took over, and I have to take the hats off to them, everything is just a professional notch above where it is. And it's not easy. And I think the danger is going to be they're going to become victims of their own success, because as more and more people are coming, it means you've got to throw more and more resources. I mean, over 3,500 people, that's a lot of registrants to keep happy and move from point A to point B. And if one thing suddenly snowballs and is running late, it's just got a...
Oh, that's a good point.
It's a domino effect. So far, so good.
But I think with the increased registrations, you're going to be having more money to play with that you can afford then to bring in different kinds of talent. I mean, a few years ago when they had Lance Burton Friends and Mac King, and that really boosted it, and then they've got Mac coming back again here this year. So,
well, I mean, that is the nice position to be in when you've got the mega budget in inverted commas to play with. They can bring everyone and anyone that they want.
Right.
But you know, these venues are not cheap, and the more registrants, the more staff that's required. It becomes its own little machine and mini city which suddenly pops up over these 3 days, and I'd love to know what the Winter Garden staff must think when suddenly this machine rolls into town.
I wonder about that then also. I understand this is not quite the holiday city it used to be in the heyday, I guess, so this must be really a big income generator for them, for the city, I would think.
One of them, the nice part about the Winter Gardens complex, particularly now that it's had its revamp over the years, I mean, it's a major destination draw card for all the touring shows in the UK. So every major touring production and all the major headline artists comes to the Opera House. It's the largest in Europe, I believe. So from a destination entertainment perspective, it's still managing to attract all of these touring productions. And one of the key reasons why we're quite fortunate in that to have such a beautiful stage and all the bells and whistles. I mean, they've got these giant LED screens this year. All the tech
That helps a lot. Yeah,
it does.
Video screens.
You couldn't accomplish what they're doing on stage here anywhere else. I don't know. I mean, to try and go anywhere outside of Blackpool to this level of tech and theatre would probably cost 3 times the price.
And I like the way that they really kept this up. I was talking with someone just yesterday morning about looking around at some of the older rooms where they have a lot of upkeep, I think. Just keep the little lights on, in the little village and things. And it was in the Spanish room or forum or someplace. Anyhow, the places they have to dust, have to clean. And in other words, it has old world charm from like the early 1900s. And so it still has that. And yet we're standing in a new annex, it looks like over here, which they keep adding on to this all the time, too. My point being is we're by the sea where you would think you could have a lot of mildew and things could get run down or wood rot pretty quickly, but they really keep this up in good shape from what I've seen.
The venue's definitely got better over the years. When FISM was here, and I forget the year...
was that 14?
It feels like 17, a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
Derek Lever was still organising at the time. The Winter Gardens complex wasn't in great shape. Things were falling off the ceiling. The place was really looking tired. But they've definitely invested over the years, and it's starting to show. Now, if only the rest of Blackpool could catch up, because the place is still a dreary, old world seaside town, which has seen better years.
Yeah, well, I would think that some of the income that they have been receiving from magicians coming in, I would think would help quite a bit then, too. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Abbott's Get-Together from the standpoint that they're in Colon, Michigan, because they were able to put air conditioning in the high school gymnasium, for example.
Sponsored by the Magic Convention. I love that. I love that. So the magicians are definitely putting their mark on Blackpool for good or bad.
Yeah, well, that's true. And although that you came mainly for camaraderie, I'm sure just to kind of hang out and be with other magicians, was there an act or somebody that you thought, well, I really want to see this person?
The surprise for me was Matt O'Neill with his memory act for an opening. He starts the show before the show starts, his audience are filtering in. He's busy greeting people, introducing himself, asking their names. And as the show starts, he then asks everyone, if he asked their name, to please stand up. You must then suddenly have 100, 120 plus people all stand. And Matt on stage memorized every single person's name, face to name, and rattles them off one after the other.
Some of them how they were spelled, even.
One L in the name, 2 Y's.
2 P's or whatever.
2 P's. As an opening for a show that is beyond impactful, it's strong, it's powerful. Matt's definitely got the it factor, and definitely somebody
to watch. A young man, he's got a great career ahead of him.
I think he's in his early 20s. He's got that charisma, that Hollywood look. Hopefully he continues to develop it. Then I got to see it again because he was one of the friends in the Mike Caveney show. He did the same routine, except he was able to add and still remembered the people from the morning show, which was now done in the evening. So now it was, nearly 200 names, including people.
Right.
Well, if I asked your name in the morning, please stand up over here. And there's no trick to it. That is just pure grit, memory retention. I can hardly remember where I leave the keys. He's able to
I believe
do
it's just a mnemonic system that he's using.
And it's brute force, he's got down to a pat. And
he's a Magic Castle Junior, he was.
I believe so. And something new, fresh, and exciting.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with for future years.
Speaking of new, fresh, and exciting, then I'll let you go, and that is the dealer's room. You were talking about how that it's a little bit different and how it's laid out and everything. Have you seen or heard anybody that has purchased something that is like, wow, this is cool?
Well, I saw something which was cool from a Magic geek perspective. I think it was the Bond Lee stand. It's a table which is gimmicked to the hilt. You can put an object on the table, either remote control or push a button on the side. The object is on a little platform which slowly lowers into the table, slides to the left, and a new object takes its place and gets raised up in perfect position.
So it sounds like an automaton, except in real life. I mean,
you can switch whatever object you want, and the frightening part is watching this little device slowly lower, move to the left, the new object slowly rises, takes its place, so it's the ultimate switch. But the secret's more exciting. than
Yeah.
the actual routine. In fact, you really just want to show the audience, look at this piece of incredible engineering, which is probably over-engineered ridiculously. But I mean, magicians love that stuff.
Well, some years ago, I remember at FISM when, who was the magician from Germany? Darn it. He's a past FISM winner then also, and he was talking about this orange juice thing. That Topaz, yeah, thank you. My mind just went blank there. And that was a great thing in which that the method was cooler than the trick, although the trick was fantastic. But everything was all built into this thing, and he showed a video about how this and had this custom made with this.
I think he did the lecture at Magic Live.
Is that where it was then?
Where he did this entire orange juice, and there were cables and tubes and things being injected. Magicians love all their toys. The other effect that somebody was telling me about, you take a chip out of a Pringles can and you place the chip on your hand. The magician makes an image of a gun with his other hand and shoots, in inverted commas, at the Pringles chip. And the chip explodes on your hand into pieces. This is one of the South Korean stands, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 people told me about that, and these chips were busy exploding in people's hands. I mean, the weirdest and wonderful.
So you can use any Pringles and any can. I mean, just a neat gimmick. Wow.
So a lot of fun. Yeah. So there's always something to discover.
Yeah, there is. Well, if you guys are here, you'd be here by now. You'd be going to the dealer's room and spending some money there then too. And seeing some great stuff that's around here. It's always fun to talk with you, Craig, and catch up. Thanks very much. Appreciate you spending some time for the Magic Word Podcast. That was Craig Mitchell. Scotty. Well, a lot of people who are here have also, I've seen at other conventions, but also who you normally would see as talent at other conventions that get booked whenever you go to one place or another, and some of the people who have also been on this podcast. One of them happens to be my guest here right now, Ian Kendall, who was at SAM that we talked at New Orleans last time we saw. We seem to travel all over the country just to see each all over the world.
I think so. But let's try and avoid the half-hour waffle about life before we get onto the important stuff.
Well, I love whenever we were just chatting and said, okay, we'll go there. We're all over the board.
Sure. So when you're painting a wall, right, you want to have nice, even up and down strokes. So you don't. I've got Blackpool head. Nothing's working at the moment.
Well, I was just talking with Alani Anoni this morning, and he was saying he's staying in a hotel someplace where he's having to actually put money to get electricity. I said, what? You mean like you want to turn your lights? You want hot water? You got to put a coin in or something. Have you ever heard of this?
I've never.
I mean, it sounds like something the Scottish would do. You know?
That is something Scottish would do. If you want to get cultural, Scotty, let's go. So I'm amazed when I've been coming to Blackpool since 1992 every year, and I remember the first.
Since you were 12 years old.
Pretty much, and I remember the first time I came here, I spent £10 a night for my digs, so £10 for bed and breakfast, and this year I'm spending £40 a night. So inflation in 30 years is catching up with me.
Well, that's not bad.
I don't get breakfast this year, though.
Oh, you don't get breakfast?
No.
You have to go find someplace?
Yeah, breakfast is extra. But I only booked it on Thursday, so that's understandable.
Well, you're lucky to find someplace, because as I walk up and down the area over there by the Ruskin, which is where most of the talent is staying, I noticed that everything said no vacancy. So I'm glad we got rooms.
I think that area fills up quite ill. I mean, you will never, ever not find somewhere to stay in Blackpool in February.
Do you think this as big of a convention this is? I'm assuming they have other kinds. I mean, I know this is an entertainment venue for people from all over the UK who come to holiday here. And but do you think this is a large enough group that really helps cover their nut? I mean, they kind of make a lot of money.
I was talking to a few years ago. I was staying in the Ruskin, which is the main sort of hangout hotel, and I was talking to one of the managers over breakfast. And I said, do you make enough money this weekend to survive till the summer? And he said, we make enough money this weekend to survive for the year. So certainly the Ruskin makes its entire annual nut on... But we're not the biggest drinkers. I asked him that. I said, are the magicians the worst? He said, no. There's a convention, I think it's either a month before or a month after us, so either January or April or March, of pigeon races. Racing pigeons.
Wow. Okay.
And they apparently open the bar at 9 a.m. and they just drink for 24 hours for 3 days.
At the Ruskin.
And the Ruskin and other places.
Yeah.
But the pigeon fanciers, the pigeon racers, and do you know what happens if you lose a racing pigeon?
I guess, no, I have no idea.
You lose a pigeon. On the plus side, I've just sold my champion racing pigeon for the 4th time. Because you got to have topical jokes when you go off to tangents. You got to have very old topical jokes.
Well, you have worked comedy clubs. We were talking earlier, and
Yep.
You have owned your own comedy club for a short. You managed one.
I ran one for 2 years. Yeah.
So you got to have some sort of jokes for every kind of occasion like this, like pigeon fancy.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
I assume that you watched Harrison Greenbaum's show last night.
I did not. See, I only come down for the day, so I don't get to see any.
You got a day pass, okay.
I don't even get to see the evening shows.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So a day does not include an evening?
No.
Huh. Normally when you go to conventions, you got a day pass, which includes your evening show. But okay.
No.
So that's how they make a lot of money here for the British Magic
Something
Club.
like that, yeah. I'm too old to do this for 4 days in a row now. It's just.
Well, did you travel down from Scotland, or you were?
Yeah, no. I get the train down yesterday evening. That's Friday, Edinburgh. That's from on Friday evening, and I've got a lift back on Monday morning in a car.
Okay. So while you're here, are you going to be sticking around then for? Are you going to buy an evening show?
I don't think so. And here's the thing. I mean, you've seen how big I am. I'm 6'4", and I do not fit in that theatre. There's no legroom for me. It's cramped, uncomfortable. So even when I used to buy the whole weekend ticket, I still never went to the gala show.
Really?
And now they started doing the satellite shows, the other shows like Harrison did and others. And I would like to have seen those. But the bottom line is it's not cost effective for me. So I'm easier just getting the day ticket. I hang out with friends. I see the dealers. I see a couple of lectures, and then I just spend the evening doing session.
That means the gala show also. I mean, Mac King and whoever's going to be in the evening gala.
Yeah, I missed the gala show. I saw Mac in Vegas last summer when I was at Live.
Yeah.
So I've seen his show, but I'm not going to see it in the big theatre.
So the short time that you've been here, what have you enjoyed? Something in the dealer's room or lectures? Or?
I saw David Regal just lecture. It was David, so you know it's going to be fun. The dealers, I haven't really done a deep dive into it yet.
Yeah.
There's nothing that really caught my eye yet. But then again, I'm not really in the market for close-up anymore. I already have 14,000 close-up routines, so I don't need any more.
Yeah.
Stage stuff I'm always looking for, but it's harder to find. There's not a lot out there. So I just look around. It's just nice to see things. As in, what is the hit? I don't know. I'm going to see Ray Crow this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
That's my sort of star lecture of the weekend. That's why I'm here.
Raymond, that's this afternoon. What time is that?
I believe it's 3:30.
Shoot, well, I was planning on going back and taking a wee nap, but I guess I'm not going to do that now.
No. Sleep on Tuesday, Scotty.
Okay. Well, I was up working on this podcast till 3 this morning, and then I got up early.
Oh, God.
So
I was in bed by midnight last night because I'm old and sensible.
You're a young man compared to me.
Yes, but I'm old compared to 98% of the people here.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. That is an encouraging thing to see the young people who are here.
The demographic has changed. Certainly, when I first started coming here in the early 90s, it was very much, the average age was late 40s, early 50s. Now, the average age is, I think, probably close to the 30. There's a lot of teenagers. There's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids here.
A lot of kids running around.
Families, parents are coming with them,
Yep.
supporting them. Yeah.
And it is encouraging because I think the next generation is around us, and they haven't stapled us to the wall yet, which is always a good sign.
Well, I think that has to do with the change in the old guard, also with Blackpool, the way Magic Club, the way they are thinking a little bit different from the way they used to.
Yeah, very much so. There's a lot of so much to see here. You can't see everything. And I know people complain about that. There's overlapping of... So I've got friends that overlap in lectures I can't see because I want to see that instead of blah. But there is definitely a modernization of the convention from when it was You know, I mean, it's 60-something years old, this convention. So obviously it's going to grow old. But it's kind of a Benjamin Button thing. It's actually becoming younger as it gets older.
Benjamin Button convention.
There is literally something for everyone. You can be a hardcore card guy, you know, who does nothing but card work, and there's stuff for you to see. You can be a kids magician. There's stuff for you to see. You can be a manipulator. There's stuff for you to see. So I think the team do a really good job of providing this smorgasbord of magic.
Diversity, yeah.
That it doesn't matter who you are. If you come to Blackpool, you're not going to be sort of sitting in the corner twiddling your thumbs thinking, why am I here? There will be stuff for you to do.
That's for sure. And even in the dealer's room, they have different kinds of things, of whether that you're a bizarrist, they've got a lot of, you know, kind of weird, you know, some stuff, as well as strictly coin guys, or, you know, give me coins, or just cards, all kinds of stuff. I just can't go, you know, you want to get cases, anvil cases for your illusions or whatever, right, you know, It's amazing.
It's the dealer hall, again, if you haven't been to the dealer hall, it is for example, if you've been to Magic Live, that dealer hall is the equivalent of the small hall here.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a microcosm.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a corner of what you have here. What is interesting with the dealers is when you talk to them, when you look around, the dealers that do well are the ones that have their own stuff. If you have a dealer who is essentially a branch office of Murphy's, and I don't say that as a disparagement. It's, you know, they are the brick and mortar shops who get their stuff from Murphy's, so they have basically the same stuff. They tend not to do as well. You get people like, you know, Alakazam, Peter Nardi comes from Alakazam. They do sell Murphy stuff, but also when they're on the stand, they only have their own stuff. And there is, again, something for everyone. If you want
Punch and Judy. I saw Punch
and Judy's here, yeah. Which
really, I would imagine so. I'm surprised to see him.
Yeah, I think Punch is going to have to sort of bring fluffy teddies out instead of killing crocodiles with sausages and what have you from the traditional stuff. But the dealer hall is something that you can Google. If anybody's listening to this has not been to Blackpool, and you Google Blackpool Dealer Hall and look at the images tag, you will see the classic shot from up in the mezzanine looking down onto this. Yeah. And that's not all of it. People have to understand there's another room and a half.
Yeah, and then the horseshoe going
around. Horseshoe, yeah. It's just... So, yeah. It's...
Well, another thing I just happened to, and I'll let you go, and that is someone got kicked out recently because they were ripping off someone else's product.
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
I guess this happens from time to time, and at least they're vigilant for that thing.
Yeah, some people are vigilant.
Yeah, okay.
Some people turn a blind eye. It's kind of sad when you look around and you see stuff that you know are rip-offs, but people are being more vocal. And because we have social media now, and we have the groups, and there's the Facebook group, people can say, oi, this is a rip-off. And then it becomes amplified. And when you have 200 or 300 people going, this is not good, then that sort of incentivizes if that's a word, the organizers to do something about it, which didn't happen in the past. In the past, you go, oh, look, I'm not going to name names, but he's doing that again. And it was kind of thing, everybody knew it was going to happen, but nobody did anything about it. And now stuff is done, so there are fewer rip-offs.
I think that was the way. I remember with going to the IBM convention, national conventions, and there were a couple of dealers I was surprised who had lecture notes that were just Xeroxes of somebody else's stuff for sale in their booth. It's like, that's not right, man.
Yeah. I mean, I bought a DVD from a dealer, again, we're talking 20 years ago, and it was a blue disc with a photocopied cover. I think, okay, I think I paid full price for this, and somebody's getting a complaint letter.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the convention. It's so nice to see you. I'm glad I happened to catch you on the day you're here.
I'm very happy. I'm sure I'll see you somewhere down the road.
No, we will. It's over the Magic Word podcast. That was Ian Kendall, Scotty out. One of the dealers actually is not necessarily a dealer, but it is actually the Magic Circle has a booth here anticipating membership or trying to gain some membership for the club. We were at the Circle the other night and talked with Marvin Berglis and a few other people while we were there, but one of the people we didn't get a chance to chat with, but now she's here, Mandy Davis. Hey there, Mandy. How are you?
Hi, Scott. I'm fine, thank you. Tired. It's already the second day.
So tell me about this booth. This is actually before you walk into the dealer's area. You got a prime location here, try to solicit membership.
They are very, very good to us. I'm very happy with the Blackpool Magicians. Mm-hmm. They give us this prime spot every year, and we're able to talk to people. We get an awful lot of members wanting to know answers to all kinds of questions that we never even thought we were going to be asked.
For example,
that's a good point. A lot of it is about the badges and whether they can buy badges, whether we have any with us, which we don't this year. There are questions about the live streaming that we do of all our Monday night events. People from overseas want to know the timings,
right,
so that I can help them work out the time it would be for their neck of the world. And loads and loads of questions.
Well, there were a lot of people, obviously, there are almost 5,000 magicians who are here at this convention. I'm surprised that not everybody has already joined. I mean, it is a major organization, and I don't know why people don't belong to the Magic Circle.
They don't belong to the Magic Circle because they're not good enough, Scott.
Oh, well, there's a good point. I guess there are a lot of hobbyists or people who may even be full-time, but yeah, you got to be at a certain level, and so you do have to audition then, right?
Absolutely. You have to take an examination which is between 8 and 12 minutes long. It has to flow well. It has to show skill. And it cannot be all self-working. Mm-hmm. You have to have a standard. A lot of magicians here do not belong to a local magic club, and that's your first step. We always advise, join a local magic club first, because there you get advice from the other members, and you improve your act, as it were. And from there, then consider the Magic Circle.
And then when they do audition or they have the test, do you come in, then your first is an AMC, an associate, or tell me about the membership levels there.
When you join, literally sign up here at the desk or online, you become an apprentice of the Magic Circle. You can't say you're a member, but you have 1 year in which to take your exam. We have a very good apprentice scheme that will help and advise. You are able to access the building on a Monday night with the members. You can talk to members about helping you. You can use the library. There are all sorts of, practically every aspect of the Magic Circle becomes available to you as an apprentice, apart from voting. You then take your exam and become a member of the Magic Circle, MMC. And you get a blue badge, and you buy a jewel, a medal, which you can buy. If you take a further exam, you can become an associate of the Inner Magic Circle, which is a white badge. This is for your listeners so that they can differentiate. That's AIMC. And you can buy a white medal. The member of the Inner Magic Circle is the top degree. And the member of the Inner Magic Circle is only given by the President. It's a presidential award. There are only ever 300 maximum at any time, and at that you get a red badge and you're given your medal.
Yeah. So to get in, you have to wait till someone dies, and then also have the president.
We are very good about keeping a certain number back, so we have never gone to the 300 mark, but that is there as a guide.
Right. And let me also point out that you can be a member, obviously, anywhere internationally, because you just alluded to having the shows that are streaming. I say shows, actually lectures and everything, the Monday night gatherings. And that's a great opportunity, I think, for people who, like me, being in the U.S., of being able to watch these live lectures or watch them the next day or whatever.
Absolutely. Everything we do on a Monday evening, every lecture or show is recorded, it's live streamed, so you can watch it live.
And you can ask questions, too.
You can ask questions on Zoom. If you're there on Zoom, you can ask your questions of the lecturer. It's a fantastic facility, it really is. And we're getting more and more overseas members. And we have members across the whole world. New Zealand, Australia, India, obviously Europe, everywhere, and of course the United States.
So you're enjoying the convention, by the way? Since you've been working mainly behind the booth.
I don't get to see much.
You see the evening shows, I guess?
Just the evening shows.
What about last evening's gala? You like that?
The gala show was amazing. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, from start to finish, that lady came out and danced, and oh my gosh, it was great.
You felt it couldn't get better than that, and it did.
Yeah.
And you must have gone to the late show. Because
I did go to the late show, yes.
Apparently the early show, a couple of effects didn't work last night.
Oh, well, there was a problem in the late show there as well.
He had a problem in the first show too.
Yeah, he did.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And the guillotine didn't drop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is a little bit
scary. I think a guillotine.
You can't get out of that one.
No.
There's no out. There's no out for you. We always say, always have an out for every trick you do. There is no out when your blade doesn't drop.
That's true. But, start to finish, I already thought that was just a very solid show, and some things I'd never seen before, and just had my mouth open. The juggler who was juggling balls, and then they were helium balloons all of a sudden.
Oh, my God. Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah.
The juggling balloons were suddenly floating in the air with no apparent wires or anything. Right. It was amazing.
I was in the second row, and it's like, wait a minute, there are no threads or anything there. That's
amazing. It was
amazing.
the most amazing show ever, and then I went to see Harrison.
And then went to see what?
And then I went to see Harrison.
Oh, Harrison. That's right. You were sitting over near me and Harrison. And he was doing his full evening show that was an 18 or over. I'd have to say it was X-rated from the standpoint of his language and everything else. I mean, it was a comedy club kind of an evening.
I loved it.
I loved it.
My only problem was, and I thought it was just me, but it turns out to be a lot of people, we didn't understand him. He's talked far too fast, and at the end of every joke, he dropped the punchline.
That's
kind of...
that's true. That's true. I understand what you're saying. Funny thing is that it's just the opposite for us when we hear someone, I don't know, John Archer or somebody, that they might be talking. It's like, I don't understand exactly what they said. So there's an English problem with both English.
Exactly.
Both sides. Well, I've enjoyed talking with you, and I'm enjoying the convention as well, and hope you continue to get some more members here. And if, by the way, people want to join, they can go to, what's the website?
They can go straight to the website, themagiccircle.co.uk.
There you go. So
I'm here all weekend, so anybody comes along, I'm here from midday till 5 o'clock.
So if you're listening, by the way, and right now, and there's still a day to go for, today's Saturday? Today's Saturday. Yes. So they're still going to be on Sunday, so if you're listening to this Sunday morning, hop on the train and come on to Blackpool, and you won't regret it. So that was Manny Davis and Scotty out.
On in the dealer's room. Believe it or not, we are in the dealer's room, but we're kind of in a corner where it's kind of quiet because it's quite busy, as you would imagine, down there. But I'm with a friend who is a lecturer, performer. He is an author and all-around great guy. I love the guy. In fact, he's named after my younger son, or vice versa. Well, anyhow, they both happen to have the same first names, Nick. Nick Einhorn. Here he is. Hey, Nick.
Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you.
You as well. We don't get to see each other nearly as often. Have you come to the States in a while, or have you?
No, it's been a while since I've been over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, back over in New York actually in March. I'm looking forward to that.
Was the publisher of the book? What was the book? The book, by the way, that was like every place.
The Art of Magic and Sleight of Hand and Magical Illusions.
Yes. Was that published out of New York, or was that a London product?
It was a London product. They've put it into many different languages and sold it all over the world, different places.
Yep. I remember there was also an old puzzle about these guys who went to a hotel and that they, what is that called?
The mysterious puzzle of the missing dollar bill.
The missing dollar bill. Yeah, because you had $20 or whatever that, and you're missing one bill, even though because the math doesn't add up or something. And you had just a very clever method and thing you sold. You still sell that on your website?
Correct, actually. I think it's sold as a download through one of the big distributors, so you can buy it via that download. I once saw that the late great Daryl do a wonderful rendition of that. And I kind of played around with a version where you could actually physically show the dollar disappearing each time, and that was my inspiration for doing something with it.
Yeah, it was a very clever thing. For people who don't know just tell the story real quick.
Oh, I can't
Remember
even.
that?
Oh,
There were 3 guys who checked into a hotel, basically, and they said it was going to be $18, or no, $15.
No.
They paid $5 each, wasn't it, or $20?
Yes, it's confusing.
It is
already,
confusing
isn't it?
already.
Yeah, it's
That's
quite
true.
a long story.
Okay, more than what this is worth. So you have been coming to Blackpool for how many years?
Oh, I'm going to say 15 years.
Okay, and why do you keep coming back?
I love it. It's the best convention. It's the biggest convention in the world. You get to meet many lovely people, see old friends. I mean, we just met each other after so many times, and we're both old now. So,
Aren't we?
And just overwhelming amount of dealers, and so much fun to walk around, see the lectures, and have fun.
Have you ever been a dealer here?
Yes, I have. In fact, this is one of the few years where I haven't been a dealer.
Okay.
And it's really nice just to walk around and not feel tired all the time.
I would imagine some of the dealers who are used to seeing you as another fellow dealer saying, how come you're not at your booth?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, spending it, not earning it this year.
Yeah, that's right. So here, are you doing still a lot of corporate affairs? You're doing weddings? What are you doing?
Yeah, mostly corporate events, private parties. And with a business partner of mine, we look after some of the biggest stadiums in the country with entertainment. So the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Wembley Stadium.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's exciting.
Yeah. So do you oversee the entertainment? Do you book the acts and things? I mean, like
Yep.
Taylor Swift kind of concerts?
Well, so for Taylor Swift coming up at Wembley, we'll be booking in lots of entertainment around her. We don't get involved with her, but everything happening in our hospitality areas and the premium areas, we'll probably be involved in some aspect of that.
So it's a production company that...
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. And so that consumes most of your time, I would think.
A lot of it, yeah. There's 3 of us involved in that company, and we have almost 100 people on site at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at every event. So as we're talking at the moment, that soccer match is about to start in about an hour, and we've got probably 100 people on site. So it's crazy, really. It's a lot of people. They're not all magicians and entertainers. A lot of them are premium hosts and hostesses that meet and greet people and say hi,
Right.
show people where they're sitting.
Is there a football team that you follow?
Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Tottenham, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got season tickets?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I guess I'm not surprised. How are they doing this year?
They're doing well. I think they're currently 4th, and they're fighting for a top spot. My son's there today, so he's going to be enjoying that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun. Now, for this convention, has there been something you've seen, either the dealers area or a show that you've that stands out?
The most. I loved the David Regal lecture. Managed to catch that one, and there's a great product that is called the Unliftable Deck, which is a remarkable pack of cards that you just can't lift from the table. Well, you can lift it, but they can't.
Right.
And it's really clever, very simple, and just very, very basic.
It's really a one-on-one type of a thing. I mean, you're watching someone else doing it. It's kind of like the light heavy chest, I guess, in which you can't pick it up.
Yeah, exactly.
But the rest of the audience is going, what's wrong with that guy?
Exactly. And I think, like all of these things, is seeing something on a dealer stand and then working out a framework to make it work for you and give it some meaning when you're performing it rather than just a trick. And we're all seeing the bare bones of something. You go up to a dealer stand, they're not going to go through the routine every single moment, so they just show you the bare bones of the trick. And it's up to us to kind of come up with some practical use for it.
Right. That's true. Put a presentation around that, then as well.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, I did see that. I didn't try and pick it up because I'm familiar with the effect, and I think it was like 45 pounds. I thought that doesn't sound too bad.
I think it was 30.
Was it 30? Yeah, okay. It was fairly inexpensive, I thought, that because it is a good trick. Now, as far as the evening shows, you're here for the whole time or just in and out for the day? Or?
No. I saw the evening show last night. Loved it.
Yeah.
Thought it was great. Just enjoyed all the different acts. It was very varied, and loved it.
Over the years, and we'll close here with this, has there been some act that has stood out in your mind? It's like, wow, that was one of my favorite Blackpool conventions.
I think a few years ago they had, it was a couple of times where they've had different MCs for the shows. Mm-hmm. So Paul Zerdin, the ventriloquist, was sensational.
Is he going to be on tonight? Is that the same guy, or is that Paul Zenon?
No, it's Paul Zenon. Yeah.
Zenon, okay.
But then Paul Zenon also hosted a couple of years ago and was phenomenal, just brilliant. And when you're in that theatre, which is huge, and you're in front of a bunch of magicians, you've really got to be at the top of your game, I think, to perform there and really do well. I thought the guy last night as well was excellent.
He's very funny. Yeah.
Really good. Did a great job and very entertaining. So it was. I just love great magic shows, and I think since the format's been slightly shorter as in previous years, they've run the show twice a night, and each show's slightly shorter. that's much more palatable and I think much better.
I remember years ago. I think
it went on forever.
It was like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's too long. It's too long, and I think perhaps Russ Stevens has had a lot to do with that. He's come in and maybe changed things around, and I think it's certainly the last few years I think has been extraordinary how good it is and how slick it is. So.
Well, Nick, good seeing you. Glad that you're doing so well and
Thanks,
keeping busy over here.
Absolutely. I'm off to find some magic.
Oh, there we go. So was Magic Word Podcast. That was Nick Einhorn and Scotty out. Well, did you guys ever hear about the Magic Convention in which 2 podcasters walked in? There we are. Richard Young, host of the Magicians Podcast here in England. How are you doing, man?
Very good. So nice to see you, Scott.
And you as well.
Last time we saw each other was Houston, wasn't
Houston,
it?
you were with the Champions of Magic, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We had a great little run there at the Hobby Centre. I think we were there for like 2 weeks.
That's right.
It was
That's
fantastic.
longer than most places, I guess, when you tour, right?
Yeah, we normally go into rooms that are much bigger, but it was like a 500-seater, so we were able to be there for like 2 weeks, which was just... It was lovely to be in one place for a while. So,
Who was it you were working with?
So it's called Champions of Magic.
No, your partner.
Yeah, so we're called Young and Strange. We're a duo. Yeah. So he's wandering around here somewhere. So yeah.
And so, are you still going back on tour, or are you kind of off for a while?
Yeah.
Right
So
now,
we actually go back on Tuesday. We're gonna. But this next week we have 5 shows, but it's not Champions of Magic. It's just Young and Strange, and we've got 5 dates on the East Coast.
Of UK or the
no,
US?
in the US. So we're in Vermont, Massachusetts, and New York next weekend. We've got 5 shows. It's been very interesting for us actually because obviously, look, we don't have a profile in America. We're not known to the public, but it's amazing the difference working in America where the tickets sell so much better than they do in the UK, even if you're unknown. So yeah, we've got really good sized audiences every week next week. So yeah, it's really good.
And when you get booked, do you do this yourself, or do you have an agent or a producer who works with you guys typically?
So the producer of Champions of Magic is a genius guy called Alex Jarrett. And so Champions of Magic now has become quite a big show. It's like in 3 trucks and there's like 20 people. So sometimes he gets inquiries from venues that the show just doesn't fit or there aren't enough seats to make the money work. So when that happens now, he offers the Young and Strange show as an alternative because we're only 1 truck.
Right.
And there's only 7 of us. So it makes it a little bit more affordable for smaller venues and towns that are a bit more out of the way. Like, next week we're doing towns that, as a Brit, honestly, I've never heard of. We're going to, like, Peekskill, New York, and
Peekskill.
Rutland, Vermont, and places like this. Right. So, yeah, it's really fun for us.
Same thing if I come over here, I don't know, Frog's Neck or something.
What are you making of Blackpool so far? I'm very interested as an American. What do you make of Blackpool?
Well, this is my second time. I was back here in
2005. I listened to your podcast this morning. I heard it.
So I love it. It looks like they've kind of ramped it up a little bit more. Yeah. It's more streamlined. They've learned from, I'd say, mistakes. I mean, learn how to improve it, I should say. It gets better every year, I guess, at least from my experience from when I was here last time, because where we're standing right now, I think at one point was probably where they had close-up and they had, like, tiered seating in this horseshoe, and now they have part of this that expanded the dealer's room, because there's so many dealers, and everybody's doing well. I mean, my goodness, everybody's packed. The show, the gala last night, was off the hook, crazy, wild, great.
Amazing.
From start to finish. I mean, this lady was dancing all the way to the end with... Jung.
Jung Min, is that right?
I think you're right.
Yes.
Yeah, who was a FISM winner, I believe. And anyhow, and everybody in between was just phenomenal. Acts that I'd never seen before, and very creative. As far as the dealers, there's no way that I feel like I'm at the Louvre, and I'm just kind of saying, yep, there's Winged Victory, yep, there's Mona Lisa, yep, there's you just kind of looking back and forth. There's so much to see.
Totally overwhelming, and also we said that actually all of the acts here and the performers, they've got a lot of competition. When you're here as a delegate, you're just sat there going, well, maybe I should be going something else now. And actually, for a lecturer or a performer to hold someone in a room for an hour is actually a big challenge here. So they have a tough job. But I saw last night, Shutagawa. I almost get emotional about it. He is the ultimate magician, isn't he? Like,
he really is. He's gotten better and better and better, and he's got an agent working with him now. He's got a thing over in Hawaii, I think he does on a regular basis.
Yeah, what a charming performer, and it was an hour of knuckle-busting sleights of hands.
But he makes it look smooth and effortless.
Oh, it's like... It can do one of two things, either as a magician, either inspire you or make you want to give up. because you go, I'll never be like that guy. But yeah, it's fantastic.
To answer your question, still, it's been very impressive. I mean, from everything as far as all the lectures I've been attending, they are so diverse, whether they're going to be technical, and even some of the technical will be cards, this will be coins, but also about, Ben Hart was talking about performing and other kinds of stuff. That's just how to make your show better. And some of the lectures that I only see, like at FISM or Blackpool, because in the U.S. you kind of have some of the same people. I think a lot of it's incestuous as far as, well, you start seeing like same guys on the convention circuit. Remember, I saw Doug Kahn like 6 times, I think.
Wow. You mentioned Ben. I mean, Ben is our country's superstar right now, I think, in terms of someone on the rise. And if the amazing thing, the show he's going to do tonight, it's his Edinburgh show, which he did, and it's in the round. So it's a magic show in the round, which is obviously a very rare thing to see. I think he's going to storm it tonight.
I'm looking forward to it, and I confess, and I feel silly, I'm going to say this just on myself on the podcast here. I had not heard of him, and I had seen him, and whenever that I went to his lecture, I had a front row seat, and the guy came out, and everybody's applauding, and I thought, well, it's only because they're on time, and maybe this is the MC. He's going to start introducing the guy. And he kept talking about 5 minutes later, said, oh, that must be Ben Hart. Like, I'm sure I'm an idiot here.
Yeah, you're going to absolutely love him, and tomorrow everybody will be talking about Ben, I think.
Well, right now everybody seems to be talking about Murray. Oh my goodness, it's like, Murray is like a son to me. He's still a friend. We can still be friends even though I completely disagree with his position and what he's done. People say, well, why don't you ask hard questions? Well, I say that my podcast is I'm not a hard newscaster. It's really more of a conversation, and it's not polite to kind of call somebody out and whatnot. So that's why with both him and Justin Flom, that I was just, they said, well, you're throwing the softballs. Well, that's the nature of my podcast. You don't listen to understand the flow of the thing, So, but you guys were asking good questions.
Well, let me take a moment just to pay tribute to you before we talk about those two, idiots. Let's be honest. Let's talk about you, because I want to pay tribute to you. You are the original, as we say, podfather, and I stand on your shoulders. You are an inspiration. I mean, what are you up to? 800 and something episodes now?
I think I just posted it was 817 here.
Do you know what a library you've got? People talk about the people I've had on, and I always think about you actually. And I had a few years off from it. And it's amazing what you do. And you have your very unique style, and actually your conversation that you had with Murray was very different to mine, but was just as interesting and just as compelling to listen to. Murray knows what he's doing, doesn't he? I think he's enjoying being the panto villain. That's what we would say here in England for a little while. But he's a very nice man, very charming. Do you know what? He spoke to you, he spoke to us, and was happy to answer any question. He didn't ask for me to edit anything out afterwards. And so, it was just great. Like, I hate what they're doing. I can't lie. I do think it's really bad for Magic.
It's all the bottom line of money. People say money and publicity, but publicity leads to clicks, and that leads to money. If you follow the money, that's where it is.
Absolutely,
And I would think that people will say, well, why didn't you ask them if they were members of the IBM or SAM or the Circle? Because if they are, or the Magic Academy of Magical Arts or the Magic Circle, because if they are, you've taken a code of silence, in protecting the secrets. And so, and I said, I never really thought of that question, but anyhow.
Do you know, Scott, there was something I was frustrated with myself over when I listened back to our interview with Murray, and that was actually I didn't connect 2 dots, which actually are obvious there, which is at the very beginning of our conversation, we talked about how he's just lost his Vegas gig because the casino is closing.
Well, he hadn't lost it. It's just that Laugh Factory is moving to a different casino.
Sure.
The Trop is closing.
But okay, so that's interesting, but that must be a bit of a worrying time, and I think maybe the timing also of then going into exposing Magic, are those two things connected? I don't know. It was just a thought afterwards. I thought, I wish I'd have asked him that and gone at these.
That's the answer.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, you know better than I do. But yeah, look, I really don't like what they're doing. I think it's, I said it afterwards. Really, like, I just do something else. There's so many ways. Actually, there's so many ways to make money in Magic. Look at all these people here. They all make their living. Most of them make very good livings.
Well, and that's the point, too, that at both their levels, both Justin and Murray, in which they have made money and a good career from that, and now they're kind of spitting in the eye of, something that had made them their career.
Yeah.
Justin's moved on, I understand. Murray's not. I mean, he's still doing this, and so, I don't know. It can't be a positive thing. As far as the rest
do you know who did win out of it? Was you and me. Because I'm sure for you it was the same, right? People love hearing from magic villains, don't they? Like, you know, both. I'm sure you had a very highly rated episode, and we did too.
I did, and that was not my intent necessarily. People who are coming in and saying this because they haven't listened to any of my other podcasts that leads up to it, you know. Yeah. And they just think, okay, well, why am I putting these guys on? I must, you know, want to provide a platform. No, that's not my reason, you know.
People do like a bit of controversy, though, don't they? They enjoy it.
Well, you might remember a few years ago when I was doing one with Greg Wilson, you know, where he was being accused of being a thief. And I was saying, no, you know, that he's not, well, he was saying, no, he's not a thief. Here's the reason why. And he was mentioning, you know, John Lovick and Cosmo Solano and all these guys. So I thought, well, I need to hear their side of the story. So I called and talked with them. Likewise, with this, I thought, okay, well, they're saying this. I need to hear the other side. I want to hear what David Sandy, I want to hear Bill Smith's side, you know, as an illusion builder, because he'd lost some money, you know, when the Masked Magician was...
I loved hearing Bill talk on your podcast last week about how the whole story of the Masked Magician from the American... As a Brit, we always wondered what happened in America when those TV shows were being... If anybody hasn't, they should go back and listen to that podcast, which you had, which was your third one. The Bill Smith bit I found particularly compelling. Hearing there's a lot of correlation with the Masked Magician there. So Bill's a legend.
He really is. You know, I'm glad to call him a friend, and I'm glad to call you a friend, Richard.
Likewise,
I really
Scott.
enjoyed chatting with you. I'm glad that I caught up with you over here. I knew that I would eventually. I mean, even though there are 4,000 of us, you know, around here, that we're going to be able to catch up with each other.
It's so good.
It's a pleasure.
So good to see you.
Well,
Can I say it? Scotty out.
Okay, and Richard out. Last evening's show, many of the listeners heard us talking with different people throughout the day and yesterday evening about how good the Mike Caveney show was, and also the gala was going on. The way that it works is that you go to one or the other, and then they swap them for a different time slot. But that way you get to see everything. And I'm here right now with the star of that show, the Mike Caveney show. It is Mike Caveney. Hi, Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Scott?
Fantastic. And so you're doing it again tonight, right?
Nope.
You're one and done.
Two and done.
Two and done. You did two last night.
We did two shows last night, and I was just the organizer of the show. We had lots of stars on the show.
Well, there were. Tell some of the people who were there.
Well, so last year, Russ Stevens asked me to put together a show, and so I called a bunch of my buddies, like I do, and we came over here and had a great time, and it was a big success. And so he said, hey, do it again next year. And so that's this year. So let me see. Last year, Tina did her mop act, Mop Man, and this year, Tina did her other act, the Scarf and Rings.
Beautiful, the rings, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, people loved that. And we had Arden James.
Love that guy.
Because with Arden, he's been a friend of ours for 30-plus years.
I always think of the three at the castle.
Yeah.
You know, you and Tina and Arden always dynamite act.
So with Arden, we get to do the old man and the old lady dance that Arden and Tina does.
Yeah.
And then the three of us...
How did they come up with that idea?
That was Arden.
Was it all him?
That was Arden, yeah.
He must have seen a mask and put it on a hat. One thing led to another. I can see it. Okay.
Funny. And then together, the three of us we did this walking through a rope thing with Tina. Mm-hmm. And then we had Trig Watson.
Yeah.
Who's a buddy of mine from out in L.A. And
an AGT performer?
AGT guy, and fooled everybody. And the act that we closed with was Celia Munoz.
Never seen anything like that.
It's the sister of Miguel Munoz, the FISM Grand Prix champion, the guy that does the water act from Madrid.
Yeah.
And to me, I still don't believe it, that 4 years ago she was an opera singer, and then she saw a ventriloquist and said, well, that looks like fun. And
I'll make a career of that instead of singing opera.
Exactly. And she went on Spain's Got Talent and won the whole thing.
Yeah.
And went on America's Got Talent, was a finalist, and ended up for a year in America's Got Talent Live in Las Vegas.
At Luxor or wherever?
Yeah, the Luxor. And I love the fact that she doesn't use any dummies in her act.
Oh, that's true. And no recorded
No,
things.
it's just, you have to see it. And technically, she is astonishingly good.
Yeah, her voice alone, first of all, is obviously she's an opera singer, sounds great. But the thing she does, I mean, when they talk about a ventriloquist, drinking water and still talking to the vent figure, she does more than that.
Eating popcorn, brushing your teeth.
Putting on lipstick.
Yeah, it's so funny.
I've never seen anything like that.
So we had a great time.
Yeah. So putting that together was a lot of fun, and so I think I heard them say they're going to have you back again next year.
I haven't heard that.
Oh, okay, maybe that was just a rumor.
I'll tell you what's funny.
I'll start that rumor.
So this is our second day here.
Yeah.
I have yet to see Russ Stevens, the guy that booked me for this. I mean, do you know how many registrants they have?
I do. There were 350 of the VIPs, and then there were 4,000 of those who have been booked. Plus, like I was just talking with Ian Kendall. He said, I'm just a day guy. So he's not part of the 4,000.
I haven't even seen Ian.
There's probably 4,500 plus here.
It's just completely overwhelming.
It is. Now, I was talking to Paul Stone, by the way, and he told me you guys got a little glimpse of the Beatles.
Highlight of the week.
Next year. Paul said, come next year.
You have no idea. I mean, I talked to some guys that had done it, and they said, you should go to Liverpool, and Paul Stone will fix you up with a tour of the Beatles stuff. And I go, yeah, that sounds good. It was off the charts. It was, I mean, we're the right age, Tina and I. We lived through all of that.
Yeah.
And
I saw the Beatles live.
You did?
Yeah, at St. Louis Busch Stadium. They flew in a helicopter, and
Tina saw them at Dodger
64.
Stadium.
Okay. I've still got my ticket.
That's great.
So I looked at it on eBay. It's like $350 if I wanted to sell it. Anyhow, I'm sorry. Tina saw it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But I can't tell you how great it was.
Yeah.
Really
Because you
great.
went to the Cavern where they started?
We went every place. We went to Ringo's house. We went to Paul's house. We went to John's house. We went to Strawberry Fields. We went to Penny Lane for a day and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I think was cool was that Paul said, well, he lived that. I mean, he used to hang out at the Cavern. His sister took him there for lunch
That's
where
right.
the Beatles were playing.
That's right.
That'd be cool. Well, listen, Mike, thanks very much. I've enjoyed the show last night, as did everybody else.
Good.
That's
Glad to hear
been
it,
part of
Scott.
the buzz over there. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that was Mike Taveney, Scotty Adams. We just finished the Ben Hart show, and I'm getting ready to queue up for the next show, which I'm going to see is Matt King. And I wanted to chat with someone who is another one of the performers, by the way, who is not only the performer, but a lecturer here then, too. And I've been so happy and proud of this guy, the way that he's been coming along. I've been telling you, if you've been following the podcast for such a long time, that he is a force to reckon with, and he ought to be working at more conventions, and I'm glad the Blackpool people must have listened to it. But I'm talking about Kyle Purnell. Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Scott. How are you, man?
Fantastic. So glad to see you here. This has got to be an exciting time for you.
It really is a dream come true. I've always wanted to go to Blackpool, but being on the other side of the world, it's just never been financially viable for me. And
Sure.
So the fact that they
got
want
a real full-time job, you're teaching.
right.
And,
And we just welcomed our third child 2 weeks ago.
Well, congratulations! Oh my gosh! And then you came over here anyhow.
I know, Father of the Year, right? But fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, I signed the contract to come here before we knew we were expecting.
Yeah.
So we put in accommodations to make sure my wife and all the kids are taken care of while I'm away. And so we came here and did the show yesterday, the International Close-Up Show, and then today was my lecture.
You did bring your wife and infant?
No,
okay.
they're still back home. But
When you said we, I thought you meant we.
The Purnell team. Yeah,
Team Purnell. And so, since this was your first experience over here, not only in Blackpool, but then also lecturing, I guess, in England, then as well.
So it's my first time in England.
What's it been like? What have you? What's been impressive to you?
I actually thought I would have more culture shock than I did. I thought it was going to come here and it's going to freak me out driving on the wrong side of the road.
Yeah.
I said wrong side. I thought it might freak me out being so far away from my family. And of course I miss them. I can't wait to go back. But it really kind of feels like home here, and the fact that I know a lot of these people, right?
Yeah.
And so it feels like you're being welcomed into familiar arms. The dealer hall's amazing. I've heard great things, and it didn't disappoint. I mean, and there's such a variety of things. There's top of the line, like next level tech stuff, and then there's some great versions of classics.
Right. Anything in there that particularly caught your fancy?
Yes, there was. And to be honest with you, I forget what it's called, but if you go to Luca Bono's
Bono, right.
stand, he has this self-produced thing that he made all these by hand. And it's this little fun magic gag, and I've been showing everybody. I'm like, you have to go buy this. It's like super cheap, and it's like the funniest, cutest thing I've seen.
Really? Well, it's funny because I was walking by. He actually stopped me and there was nobody around his booth. It's kind of like he had some time, and he said, "Hey, Scott, I wanted to tell you I enjoyed the podcast." And it's like, "Oh, well, thanks for listening." And we chatted for a little while. I didn't record him over here, but he didn't try and sell me anything, so I didn't know what he was selling.
Next time you see him, ask to see his new thing for Blackpool. It's not really a trick per se, but it's really cute and it's really charming. It's really funny.
All right, and so aside from that, what have you seen as far as the show? I mean, you've been kind of working and preparing.
Yeah. I did have a chance. I just saw the Matt King show, the first showing of it. He's unbelievable. He's a living legend for a reason.
Yep. You're seeing Ben Hart next, I guess.
I didn't see Ben Hart. I might go see him. And then last night I saw Shoot's show.
Yeah.
Obviously unbelievable as well. So the caliber of talent that they brought in is just crazy.
And did you see the gala show last night?
I did. Yeah.
What did you think of that?
My favorite. I think I had tied for 3 favorites. My absolute favorite was the closer, of course. Yeah. It was
the sand guy,
and he was. It's like supernatural, and it stirs an emotion in you that sometimes you don't even know you had. I was brought to my feet. I didn't even make a choice to give a standing ovation. It just happened. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. I also loved. It was one of the best juggling acts I've ever seen. That was insane.
And he was juggling, and all of a sudden he would stop. I mean, a ball would just hover in air.
It would just hover, and then it would float, and then it would go down, then it would go up. It was insane. I've never seen anything quite like that.
And I was on the second row, so I know there were no threads or anything that were involved with that.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I also really liked Winston Feuermeyer.
The juggler?
No, he was the manipulation guy with the white cards.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw him in Quebec at FISM, I believe, and he was doing that act. I want to say that he had won FISM with that, and for people who are listening to this, his act was like he was in a jail inside of his mind, basically from addiction of whatever that addiction might be, and it kept coming back to him, and he's trying to get rid of it, and and the lighting even were as intense, looked like bars, from the
it's so beautiful and beautiful. Haunting and
haunting's the word. Just phenomenal,
just next level.
Yeah, but everybody was doing something that I just hadn't seen before. It was a very creative group.
I even liked the first dancer that they had.
Okay. She took my breath away. Wow.
I thought she was excellent.
Yeah, and then disappeared.
Was not expecting that. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was very cool. Well, all of this has really been great. And are you staying at the Ruskin, by the way?
I'm going to the Ruskin tonight, but no, we're staying about 10 minutes away at it's called the Big Blue Hotel.
Okay, because I know a lot of times the performers stay at the Ruskin then as well. So.
Yeah, no, they put me up. It's not close, but it's very nice.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're having a great experience with this, and I'm sure that that you have been welcome because you're a very creative guy yourself, and the things you have are very commercial. And again, I want to give a pitch for any organizers of conventions who are listening to this to think about getting Kyle Purnell for your convention, wherever you are. Not just in America, but obviously he came over to England. Absolutely. Because you're not getting enough bookings. Well, I guess you could, but you got to, like I said, a job. You're working. Working with autistic children.
I'm a speech therapist in a school.
That was it. Yeah.
Speech therapist in a school.
What about sales? Did you seem to do well? I mean, kind of afterwards.
Yeah, it was good, but not quite as good as I was hoping. So if this goes out while I'm still here, please, if you're listening, I still have some stuff. If you ever had any interest in buying anything, I still have a lot of stuff that I'm hoping not to travel back with.
Okay. Well, now here's a thought for you, and that is to talk with some of the dealers like Alakazam.
I did. I talked to the convention guys, and I emailed them, and I'm just waiting to hear back to see if there's any chance I can set up something tomorrow.
Sometimes that's what these guys do is they'll pick up some of the extra things, that the lecturers can't take back or, get a discount or whatever for that. And, for those people who are listening, who are having that FOMO, a little fear of missing out, you have been over the last few days, but there's still a one day left to go. Tomorrow, I was just talking this afternoon with Ian Kendall, who had purchased just a one-day pass. He was training in from Edinburgh.
Okay.
And so what I'm saying is, if you're listening, you can too come in on Sunday and catch the show. I believe Mac's having a thing tomorrow.
Yeah, afternoon. He's having a lecture. I'm planning on going to the lecture.
Mac King is going to, and I believe Noel Britton is going to be chatting with him.
Okay, great.
Being the host of the thing. And so, we've still got a lot of lectures and a lot of hanging out to do and everything. So, Kyle, great seeing you. I'm so glad that things are going well for you here.
Thank you so much.
So, for the Magic Word podcast, And congratulations again, Dad.
Thank you.
That was Kyle Purdell. Scotty out. One of the things that we got in our package with the VIP package thing was a little flash drive, and in the flash drive was a thing from the 2021, I believe it was, the Zoom Blackpool Convention, because that was all online.
Oh, right,
And with that, of course, the host was my guest right now, John Archer. Hey there, John.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about that flash drive thing, but yeah, they did. I remember they got in touch with me a month or two ago and said, "Can we have permission to use it?" But that was good fun. That was flying by the seat of the pants. That thing.
I thought that was pretty cool. It was kind of like you were just kind of sitting out there in the lobby someplace, and hosting. It's kind of like I got the whole Winter Garden to myself. You know?
It was weird because this place was empty, and we were all sort of downstairs where the dealer hall is. That's where we did it.
How did they get by all of that COVID situation?
Well, we were all sort of
be here.
Yeah, we were allowed to be in certain groups, but we had to keep our distance. So it was all distanced, and everybody had to be checked and everything else. You know, COVID checked before they came in, and
right.
So it was at a point where you were allowed to mix, but you had to be socially distanced. So we got away with it.
And as I recall, there were a couple of people who did some close-up also, so I guess they were kind of over to the side? Or
Yes. And some people did close-up over to the side. Some people were pre-recorded. The film, some things in the theatre without an audience, just filmed of bits. So it was a sort of and then interviews and various things. But
that's what I remember. Now that you mentioned that about them having no audience in there, it gets kind of weird. It's like they're rehearsing almost because there's no applause. You build on applause, and there's like nothing.
And also it was sort of, not a lot of people had done that. I mean, some people were doing live Zoom shows and things, but I'd never done any, so it was all a little bit weird. But I mean, it was good fun. It felt nice just to be able to at least put something out, because it was all free and everybody worked for nothing.
Speaking of putting something out, I think they have done a brilliant job here this year.
Yeah.
Like 4,500 or 5,000 magicians, absolutely incredible. And the team that they put together, it's just running pretty much like clockwork, everything running on time. And everything.
It is. Well, there's so much going on as well. It's like, at any point in the day, there's like about 4 or 5 things you can go and see. Things happening everywhere, so it's good.
It really seems like, well, what have you seen so far? Because I think you and I have been going in different circles, because this is the first time I've seen you. So what's been impressive that you've enjoyed this year?
The thing I've enjoyed most, Raymond Crow's lecture, which was, it was sort of about using your body
even doing
in comedy. Even in close-up, and just the, the mime stuff that he talked about. So that was the thing I most enjoyed. And then Young Min in the gala show last night.
That's the guy's name. I could not remember. Young Min.
Young Min, you just remember the YMCA song, Young Min, da-da-da-da-da-da, I said Young Min.
Now I can't get this out of my mind.
No, you can't get that song out of your head now.
Well, even you dancing to that,
Nobody knew I was dancing until you told them.
You're a dancing queen.
But, he was phenomenal, wasn't he, at the end of the gala show. There was some great bits of that gala show. Right at the beginning, the vanish of that dancer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kyle and I were just talking about that. I mean, the way that opened, she did. Boy, I had a second row seat, and the way that she was breathing, I mean, she put everything into that. It was amazing, and kind of a contortionist also.
Yeah.
The way that she did great music, and then at the end, just like it was just a puff of smoke and confetti. Very cool.
Incredible. Yeah, so that was great. So, and then, Mac tonight, it'll be interesting to see Mac work a big stage, because, it is a big stage in there. So it'll be interesting to see him
try to fill the stage. Yeah.
Well, I don't think he'll have any problem filling the stage. He's got the persona to do that, but just see him work in a big theatre like that.
Who do you think is filling in for him in Vegas right now?
Well, it should have been me if I'd known.
I was about to say.
I don't know. It's Nick DeFat fills in for him a lot, doesn't he?
He does, but Nick's working the.
He's doing the Big Apple,
Big
isn't
Apple,
he?
yeah.
But that's evening. He could double up.
Oh, he could double up.
Yeah.
Because he's just here for a few days, I think, and then going back. He came in early with Mike Cady and the guys, and Paul Stone took him over to Liverpool.
Yeah,
the
they
Beatles
did
tour.
the whole Beatles thing, didn't they? Yeah.
I'm going to do that next year. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Have you filled in for Mac before? That was
No, I mean it's a bit impractical for me to fly over and cover for him.
For just a few days or whatever.
Yeah.
Still work with Tim Vines then?
Yeah, we're touring again in March, so I'll be opening for him for the whole month. So yeah. Lots of stuff really. Just come back from the Castle and House of Cards, so I've just been out.
That's right. You followed Oscar Munoz over at House of Cards.
That's right.
He was saying that you were coming in.
Yeah.
So were you in the Palace of the Castle?
I did the Palace show, with Ian Kendall and Paul Nardini.
Oh, Ian didn't say that. I was just talking with him today, and he was saying he was in the Castle. I didn't know.
He did 2 weeks there. He did the Palace with us, and then he stayed there for a second week and did the Parlour. Which I don't know how he swung that, but we had great fun. Went and did Randy Pitchford's place before the Castle.
Peacock.
The Peacock. So that was great. It was a nice little run really. So the Peacock, and then the Castle, and the House of Cards.
Yeah.
So I was ready for a rest when I got home.
Yeah. You're going kind of on a little bit of a vacation, but you're ready to come home and have your vacation.
Yeah, that's right.
In your living room.
Yeah.
Well, John, I'm not going to stop you. I know you got to.
Yeah, get ready to go see Mac now.
See the next one, that's right. So for the Magic Word Podcast, that's my mate over here, John Archer, Scotty out.
I happened to run across a couple I'm sitting next to here this evening, and this is amazing. I was asking what kind of magic they do, and it's like into escapology, but not only that, apparently there's an escapology club or a group in England. So, Alan, tell me something about that.
That's right, yeah. So I'm actually the chairman of the United Kingdom Escape Artists. We're the oldest running club devoted to escapologists in the UK. We've been going 24 years. I also run the Global Escapology Organisation with Andrew Basso and Cliff Gersman. This is a new club, but it's for the elite escape artists throughout the world. And currently we've got about 90 members, so we're doing pretty well. We had our first convention in Sheffield, UK last year. And we chose...
When did you have that? Around Houdini's birthday or Halloween? Or what?
Not Houdini's birthday, no, but we chose Sheffield because one of Houdini's friends was a gentleman called Randini. Now, Randini was born in Sheffield, and some people say that Randini was the person who came up with the idea of the upside-down straitjacket.
Oh. That Harry started doing.
That's right, yeah. So Randini and Houdini became friends when he came over to Sheffield, Houdini, to appear at the Empire. I think it was the Empire Theatre there. He also did an escape from a prison cell, and the young Randini became very good friends with Harry.
And you were saying also that you sell escapology equipment like handcuffs and straitjackets and things?
We do, yes. I'm the daughter of David Duval, and we sell magic props, so handcuffs, lots of different restraints, all across the world.
Is that online or like?
Yes.
So you're not obviously a dealer here at this convention? Or
not today.
Yeah. Have you been in the past at Blackpool here?
My father did used to, yes.
Okay. So how did you guys both get into this?
Through the legacy of my father, we were just really wanted to continue it. He died in 2002, and we thought, you know what, we should be keeping his name alive.
What was his name?
David Duval.
Oh, David Duval. Okay. And same with you? I mean, you got into it about the same time?
Well, you say you're getting into it, it's all actually about getting out of it. But yeah, so basically I met Rebecca 13 years ago. Because her father was a very famous escapologist who sadly passed away, I started building a website all about her dad. And from there, more and more I looked into it, I became fascinated. I wanted to know how everything worked, how everything was done. So here we go, 13 years later, we manufacture equipment, we go all over the world, and yeah, we're kind of good at it now.
We love it, we love it.
So, one last thing, where will this convention be held this year and when?
So we're actually in Blackpool at the House of Secrets.
When?
In 13th of April.
Okay, so it's coming up soon.
It's coming up very soon. We've got a very special guest called Carl Bartoni. Carl Bartoni was famous for doing an upside-down straitjacket escape from the top of the Blackpool Tower. It's absolutely amazing. Not only did he do it by himself, he had his partner hanging from his hand in another straitjacket. Absolutely amazing, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and Carl has never ever done a lecture about this, so we're so lucky to have him, and he's actually going to bring a piece of rope, what he actually used.
So, how many people attend usually?
So, as you can imagine, it's quite a niche market.
Very niche.
It's a very niche market. So, I think today at Blackpool we've got about 4,000 people. We're going to get about 35 people.
Okay.
So, a big difference.
For those who might be interested, where can they go for more information or to sign up and register?
Yeah, so if they go to our website, devalmagic.co.uk, we have a section on there called the UKEA, United Kingdom Escape Artists. Click on there, you can get all the details, price, etc. It is for members only. There's an application form on there. But, you know, all you need is a strong interest in it. And we are a very, very helpful club.
Sounds great. Well, thanks very much. Good talking with you guys. That's fascinating. I didn't know anything about that. How about that? So, for the Magic Word Podcast, this is Alan Rebecca. Scotty out.